some stories seem too good to be true. Whether it's your mom telling you that a relative had just won the lottery, or your friend telling you that they just met LeBron James at their favorite restaurant, even when you see the evidence, you almost can't believe your eyes. And in 2 cases, the magic of these sports moments seem to be scripted by the man upstairs himself. Whether it's an undrafted kid from Harvard or a football legend bringing the whole country to their knees, sometimes the sports world can be flipped completely upside down. This is how Tim Tebow and Jeremy Lin both set the world on fire, all within a year. There's surprisingly a lot of commonalities with these 2 stories, and both start in humble beginnings. And though Jeremy Lin is the one of Asian heritage, it's actually Tebow's story that starts in the Eastern continent. Tebow's parents both served as missionaries in the Philippines at the time of his birth. Before she knew she was pregnant with Tim, his mother caught a case of amoebic dysentery that was so bad she fell into a coma. The medication used to nurse her back to health caused placental abruption, causing doctors to expect a stillbirth. However, Tebow's parents chose to play the long odds, and on August 14, 1987, Tim Tebow was born in the city of Manila. Before even speaking his first words, Tebow had brought his first miracle to the world just by being born. The Tebows moved to Jacksonville, Florida when Tim was about 3 years old. There, he would quickly fall in love with the game of football. He was homeschooled, but due to a Florida law, he was able to play at Allen Diniz High School, where he had quickly gained the attention of scouts for his superb athleticism and remarkable leadership qualities. Both of Tebow's parents were alumni for the Florida Gators, and with Urban Meyer's spread option style of offense lining up with Tim's college years, it was a perfect match. He would be a Gator. Jeremy Lin's road to college was a lot more typical of the average American athlete, but the odds were never in his favor to make it to the NBA. Both of his parents stand at 5'6", so one could say it was a miracle that he ever reached his height of 6'3". Despite this, Lin would make some noise in his hometown of Palo Alto, California. In his senior year, he was the captain and best player on his 32-1 high school team. He would even upset a nationally ranked Mater Dei team to win a state conference title. Despite this, he wouldn't receive a scholarship offer from any of the local Pac-12 schools, and would even be disrespected by his eventual assistant head coach Bill Holden, who told Lin's high school coach that he was a Division III player. Either way, Jeremy Lin was off to Harvard with a huge chip on his shoulder. With both of these unlikely heroes entering college, they would both achieve greatness at their respective schools, but Tebow's success would be seen by a national audience. He would win 2 BCS titles with the Gators and gain a bevy of accolades, including a Heisman, 2 SEC Player of the Year awards, a Manning Award, and would even make the first team All-American squad twice. At the end of his college career, he held 5 NCAA, 14 SEC, and 28 Florida Gators statistical records. His influence and fame began to grow. Just by wearing John 3:16 on his eye black during the 2009 BCS title game, the Bible verse was searched over 90 million times on Google that night. Despite his athleticism, sheer volume of records, and winning attitude, questions still lingered about his ability to throw the ball accurately. Lin's college career showed rapid growth to eventual greatness, but nobody seemed to notice his dominance in the Ivy Leagues. He scored 30 points on a 12th-ranked UConn Huskies team, gaining the praise of Hall of Fame coach Jim Calhoun. And even though he was the best player in his entire conference, he still went undrafted. The beginning of these 2 pro careers is probably where these 2 stories differ the most. Tebow was the 25th overall pick in the 2010 draft, and the Broncos really believed in his upside, but didn't rush to start him. It wasn't until the current starter Kyle Orton began to struggle that the magic would start. For Lin, after a short and negligible stint with the Golden State Warriors, he would bounce from one organization to the next, continuing to prove himself in the D-League. After a long and painful journey, he would end up on the Knicks. After more meaningless minutes here and there, he feared getting cut once more, but a golden opportunity would arise against the Nets. In the journey of these 2 stories, everything goes crazy right about now. After starting the season 1-4 in 2011, head coach John Fox decided to start Tebow against the Miami Dolphins. For the vast majority of the game, Tebow struggled mightily, with the Broncos finding themselves in a 15-0 hole with about 4 minutes left to go in the game. This is normally where players start to give up after being shut out for 56 minutes of game clock with no solution in sight. But then, something amazing happened.
With Dan Marino.
Yes, right.
He was used to winning games.
Denver gets their first 3rd down conversion, and this is Matthew Willis on the fly. From the other side, Wake can't get him. He's already sacked him twice. And that is a touchdown reception. And what a catch! Fells to the pylon. That's a touchdown!
Two-yard field goal attempt here from Matt Prater. It's good.
Tebow had led the Broncos to a miracle win, but it wouldn't be the last that season by any means. After losing the following week, Tebow would win 6 straight, including 4 straight comeback victories. Every time he struggled for 3.5 quarters, he always seemed to find a way with some miracle run at the end to win it. Everyone and their mothers was talking about Tebow. He was everywhere, and sports fans wanted to see how far it would go, as the haters just wanted it all to end. But when the Broncos were led to the playoffs by Tim Tebow to play against the Steelers, the haters wouldn't find anything there either, much to my dismay.
The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him 3 to the 30, to the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Now before we go into Tebow's loss to the Patriots that following week, let's go back to Lynn in that Nets game. Against all-star guard Darren Williams, Lynn had 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. A more than solid game, but a lot of no-names have done that once. Surely it wouldn't happen again. But it did. The next game against the Jazz, he had 28 points and 8 assists. And then he had 23 points and 10 assists the game after that. Nobody knew what the hell was happening, but this ragtag Knicks team without Carmelo and Stoudemire had Kobe's Lakers up next. And there was no way he would fight through all the pressure and beat a championship team. Right?
Because he's playing him soft. This is what I like. I like this.
Lynn picks it up. Lynn drives in and lays it in.
Put it down on the floor.
Lynn likes the open floor, spinning, puts it up and banks it in.
Yes.
Sensational play for Jeremy Lin. Lynn for 3. Bang!
"38 points and 7 assists. But Lynn wasn't done there. The very next game he has 20 points and 8 assists, including the go-ahead free throws to win the game. And if you thought he couldn't be more clutch, the game after that, he does this.
The crowd on its feet here at the Air Canada Centre. Lynn puts it up. Bang! Jeremy Lin from downtown, and the Knicks take the lead.
He would lead this Knicks team to 7 straight wins, bringing them back to 500. And going into the All-Star break, he was on top of the world. But all good things must come to an end. Tebow would struggle against the Patriots in the AFC divisional round. After that loss, he would never get another real shot. The Broncos would sign Peyton Manning and trade Tebow to the Jets. After short stints with the Patriots and Eagles, he would focus on a baseball career and his already flourishing roles in television. The Knicks would fire Mike D'Antoni and hire Mike Woodson in March. And contrary to D'Antoni, Woodson had no idea how to run any kind of robust offense. The Knicks became more of an iso ball team, and after Lynn tore his meniscus, he decided to have season-ending surgery. For Lynn, the exit out of New York would be ugly. The Rockets would offer him a 3-year, $25 million deal, causing jealousy in the locker room, even pushing Carmelo Anthony to call the contract, quote, ridiculous. He would bounce around from team to team, putting up respectable numbers, but after more knee injuries would concede his time in the NBA in 2019 and accept a deal to play in China. These 2 stories can be seen as flashes in the pan in the grand scheme of the sports world, but nobody can really seem to forget their impact, and weirdly, their similarities. Whether it was their devotion to their faith, their ability to embody the underdog, or just their sick plays, they seem to find ways to touch every subsection of sports fan. Tebow defied the odds just by being born, and Lynn defied the odds by breaking a race barrier that caused people to doubt him for his entire career. Either way, by defying the odds like they did, their names are written into sports history forever.